Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are making this gorgeous little bird for our November wreath project. Get excited guys, I know we've got some tails attached to everything. Now these tails are staying here because we're going to attach the bird to the wreath with them. Alright, so ignore the tails right now, they just looks like some sort of creature from outer space, doesn't it? just a long beak down here, but they are just tails, and all we're going to do is weave them into place when we get a chance. All right, so in the meantime I just want to let everyone know colour combination chosen today was chosen by the lovely Elaine during Yarn Antics, which is done on our Saturday mornings live at 10 a.m. Melbourne Australia Time. Marry that up with your country. If you want to be a part of live antics and help choose a colour combination of our next project, then you must join us on Saturday mornings live. We also have lives on Wednesday afternoon 4 p.m, but Saturday mornings is when we do our live antics, when you guys get to choose the colour combination of the next tutorial. But in the meantime, this gorgeous little bird, as you can see, look at that, 2 thumbs worth. It's absolutely nothing. A great way to get rid of all the yarn in your stash. Now the yarn I did use, however, is a 4-ply cotton. Now you can use a 4-ply wool or acrylic, and a 4-ply is a 2-weight or a lightweight cotton. Now you can use any thread or yarn as long as it's a 4-ply or a 2-weight, a lightweight material. Oh, and by the way, it calls for a 3mm hook. I did actually use the 3mm hook today. You will need scissors. You will need your 2-stitch markers. I don't think I did use the sewing needle, only to bring the eye back through. All right, we are not weaving in any ends today because we're going to weave them in when we attach our bird to the wreath. All right, so those are the items you need. It's very quick. I won't say it's super easy. It was a little difficult to see because I decided to use the actual thread instead of using larger or thicker yarn. So it shouldn't take too long to make. The only thing is just making sure you have your correct amount of stitches in this second round, and then the rest will come naturally. And that's it guys. There's one thing left to say, is why are we creating a bird in November? Well, the reason is, since the passing of our Pomeranian cross in July, our cat has become a little bit sad outside, and she recently befriended the birds in the neighbourhood. And when I say the birds, I mean, well, pretty much all of them. And we had a neighbour who chopped down his tree, and these birds had nowhere to go. So what they were doing is they were swooping down in front of the cat, eating the cat's biscuits, whilst the cat stared at them. She didn't chase them off like she normally did. She didn't try to attack them. In fact, she was less than a foot away from one bird while the bird was eating her biscuits, and she didn't mind. So I'm actually recording this tutorial with the door open so you can hear the birds. You won't be able to see them, but you'll be able to hear them swoop down at her while she's eating her biscuits. So there you go. And that's the only reason I'm doing a bird in November. And as you know, guys, all year round, we've been doing items on our wreath, 1 item per month for that month. And there are reasons why we use that item in the month. It's because it had something to do with that month. And this particular bird has a lot to do with November. All right, so I'm not going to talk anymore, guys. I'm going to let you get started creating your gorgeous little bird. Good luck all. All right, guys, I'm using the white thread first, but you can use any thread you like. And we're going to start off by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there, holding it down there. Grab the back loop, passing it halfway over your finger, hold it there. Grab the other loop, passing it all the way over. Pop your hook in your little loop there that you formed, and just give everything a tug. Now my tail is fairly long because we're going to use this to sew to our wreath. It's not necessary. We can add threads later if you like. All right, but what we're going to do now is just keep your work a little bit loose here. We're going to chain 7 yarn over your hook, pull a loop through to the loop on your hook 1. That is a chain. Let's get another close-up. So yarn over, pull through, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. All right. Now we're going to slip stitch in our first chain you see right there. I'm putting it up nice and close. Sorry about the close-up of the fingers there. We're going to slip stitch into that first stitch, but keep that stitch not so tight. So keep it nice and loose. So pop your hook into the first stitch, pull a loop through like so, and pull it through loosely like so. And what I want you to do here is grab your stitch marker. Now you might want to use smaller stitch marker if you like. I'm going to use a big one. It's no big deal. I just couldn't find the small ones. Or piece of thread or a safety pin or whatever you have in stock you can use there. All right. In the next stitch, we are doing single crochet. So that's the stitch you're in now. We're going to jump right into the next. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Yeah. In the next, we're going to do a half double crochet. Yarn over your hook, into the stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. In the next, you're going to do a double. Yarn over your hook, into the stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through just 2 loops, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. In your next stitch, you're going to put in what we call a treble, okay, and that's yarn over your hook twice. So you've got it once and twice, yeah, all right. So yarn over your hook twice, once, twice, into the next stitch, pop your hook in, pull a loop through. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook or the last 2 loops, yeah? Now, in that very last stitch you see right there, you're going to put 4 double crochets. So make sure you have your yarn over your hook, go straight into the last stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that's your first one. And then you're going to do 3 more. That's your second one. Third one. And fourth. So you should now have your 4 double crochets in there, right? Now what we're going to do, you can give that a little bit of a tug if you like, not too much. We're going to work along the opposite side. So turning your work a little bit, let me move that out the way so you don't see it. Normally we would crochet over this tail. We're not going to. We're going to use that to sew to our wreath. Or if you're not doing a wreath, then you can crochet over it. Now, we've got our 4 double crochets in here. Our very next stitch needs to be the opposite to what we see here. Let me get a nice close-up. And it's the actual top loop that you're putting your stitch in. All right, now this was the treble. So that means yarn over your hook twice, once and twice. And there is your stitch right here. Let me get a close-up for you. And it's that top loop of the stitch right there. All right, pull your loop through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through the next 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and in your next stitch you're going to put a double crochet. So yarn over your hook right into the very next loop, just the top loop, pull a loop through like normal, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and now you do your half double, which is right into the very next little loop, if you can see it there. Pull your loop through, 3 loops on your hook. I've split the yarn, give me one moment guys. There we go. All right, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And now just before your slip stitch, there is a stitch right there. You're going to do a single crochet, and that is just popping your hook into the loop, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Now, before you slip stitch in here, you're going to put a slip stitch into the top loop, or the base loop right there, of the slip stitch that you were in. So first, it's a bit tricky to see. There it is right there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and slip stitch it into the stitch on your hook. And then you can slip stitch into that stitch marker stitch right there. If it's not as tight as mine, it's not too bad. Pull a loop through like so, and pull it through to the loop on your hook, removing your stitch marker just for a moment. Leave it here because you're going to need it in a minute. So from here, we're going to chain 3, and that's yarn over your hook once, twice, and 3 times. Grabbing your stitch marker, it's a little fiddly, but see if you can get your stitch marker in that 3rd chain. Okay, top chain that is. If you can't, we'll just make the stitch first and then put the stitch marker in afterwards, yeah? And the stitch I'm talking about is a double crochet, and you're going to place it in the same stitch that you are in right there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and there you have it. Yarn over your hook, you're going to place 2 double crochets in each one of these little stitches that you see. They look like the letter V. All right, now you're already in this one right here, so jump straight into that very next one there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, do it again into the stitch with your double crochet like so, and now 2 into every stitch, and that's these 2 loops you see there. You're going through the little space of those 2 loops, 1 and 2. Right into the very next stitch with your 2. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this, but I won't let you head off on your own either. You can slow this down if you like, but I'm going to pop this on fast. You have your settings there and you can actually slow down the stitches for yourself. But in the meantime, I'm going to pop in 2 double crochets in every stitch until I get around to that stitch marker after I have unknotted my work. I don't know how that happened. There you go. Listen to the birds. They want the cat's food. Let me try that again, that stitch. And off we go. So, we're so far away now. I think I have my last 2 stitches left, and then we're going to count. And when you are finished the round, you should have 28 double crochets in the round, and I will show you how to count. I think I've just done my last stitch. I think I have. I hope I haven't doubled up. We'll find out once I count. It looks like I've done the last stitch. All right. So the idea is to count these little guys right here, these little V's that you see. All right, so I'm just going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, and I have missed a stitch. There you go. Don't you love it when you miss a stitch? Let's have a look. A nice close-up in there. And I have missed my stitch right there. And that's my 27 and 28. All right, so there you go, and it's easy to miss a stitch, so be careful. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch right into that stitch there like so. Pull a loop through like so. Remove your stitch marker. Whoops, I'm out of frame, sorry guys. And then all you're doing is pulling up a loop. Guess what? You're going to cut this thread right there, because we're not only going to change colour, but we're also going to start on the tail of our bird. Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do now, let's get a nice close up here again. We're going to, firstly, I'm going to change colours. I'm going over to my pink now. You can keep the same colour if you like, but we're going to be working on the tail of your bird. All right. So what we're going to do, this is the stitch where we cast off before. Yeah. Right next to it, you should have your stitch 1, and then 2, and then 3. So count 3 stitches backwards. So you go 1, 2, and 3. So pop your hook in that 3rd stitch. Grab your new colour, all the same colour if you like. Can you hear the birds? They're going crazy out there. They want their food. They want my cat's food, not theirs. Pull a loop through like so, grabbing your tail. Oh no, just leave a tail at the back for this one. You can leave it long or short, doesn't matter either way. Holding it so that the loop doesn't come through, because we haven't knotted it yet. So you chain 1, yarn over your hook. 1, 2, and 3. Grab your stitch marker again. Again, if it's awkward to place it in there now, you can do your double crochet first and then place it in there. That might help, yeah? And in the same stitch you are in, you're going to put a double crochet. So yarn over your hook, pop a hook in the same stitch you are in, doing your normal double crochet, like so. And then you're going to put 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So in you go, 1 and 2. That's it for this row. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Grab a 2nd stitch marker and pop it in the top loop of your chain 3, like so. Yeah. Now we're going to flip our work and work along the top of these stitches that we just created. So yarn over your hook. You're not going to pop a double crochet in the same stitch you are in. You're just going to put a double crochet into the next stitch. All right, so that's the same stitch you're in. Jump into your next stitch and do a double crochet. 1. And then 1 into your very next stitch, which is right next to your stitch marker. Don't forget it. 2. And again, 1 in the top stitch. Now this might be really tight for you, and it's tight for me, but pop your hook in that top stitch, and if you can't, just take out your stitch marker and then pop your hook in that top stitch right there and complete your last double crochet. And now it's raining. She's talking out of it as if you know what's going on here. Yeah. Now you're going to chain 1, turn your work, single crochet in that same stitch that you are in, pop your stitch marker in that stitch. Yeah. And now this can be a little tricky this round, so just being wary. In the very next stitch, you're going to pop a slip stitch. So pop your hook in the stitch, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. In the next stitch will be a single crochet. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. In your stitch with your stitch marker will be a slip stitch, and you know how to do that. Pull a loop through like so, taking out your stitch marker. And here's where it gets a little tricky. Yeah, in the big space that you see right there, you're going to pop a single crochet. So pop your hook into the whole space, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook, pull through both those loops. In the same space, a slip stitch. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, pull through to the loop on your hook. Now into your very next space, you're going to do exactly the same. So pop your hook in the space and do a single crochet, and then a slip stitch all into the same space, like so. And into the stitch where your actual double crochet stitch is, you're going to slip stitch again. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Pull up a loop and cut your thread. Alright, so grabbing your scissors, cut your thread. You have officially finished the tail of your bird. Alright, that's the tail, yes? I don't know why I got you to put the stitch marker in there. Sorry about that, you don't need that. Now, we're going to use the pink again, alright? And let's just have a look-see. Now, this is where our first double crochet was before. We're going to count back 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And pop your hook in that 8th stitch. Right there, right there. Pop your little thread or your loop over it like so. Pull your loop through like that. So you've pulled your thread through, except this time I do want to actually lock our tail into place. I think we probably should have done the same before, but it doesn't matter. Just pass your tail forward. That will kind of lock it into place. And now you're going to chain 3. Yarn over your hook. 1, 2, and 3. You don't need to put a stitch marker here, but what you're going to do is lift that loop for a minute. Then you're going to count, move that out the way. You're going to count 2 stitches across this way. So 1 and 2, pop your hook in. Grab the loop that you got rid of, like so, and pull that tail through like that. Yeah, chain 1. Oh, I've split the yarn. Give me a moment, guys. There you go. Let's try that again. Chain 1, 2, and 3. And in the same stitch that you are in, not the same stitch, I'm sorry, in the actual space that you created, you're going to put 9 double crochets, all right? So right into that space that you created there, and do your 9 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Split the yarn again. Don't you love it? She's doing so much splitting today. Let's try that again. 7, 8, and 9. And then from here, you're going to count back. Now you're in this stitch here, so you're going to go 1 into the next one, 2, and 3. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Yarn over your hook, pull a loop through, and there you go. That is pretty much your bird done. The only thing you need to do now is we're going to add a black eye there, yeah? And if you want, you can add little feet. I'm not going to. My bird is just going to look like that. And we're going to attach it to the wreath. I'm trying to make it as small as possible to get it to attach to the wreath. But let's now work on the eyes. So simple, the eyes. So simple. All right, so grabbing your black, let's move everything out the way for now. Very simple. Make a loop like you would normally. Yep, pop your hook on, like so. And chain 1, 2. Last time I did 2. When I made a bird last time I did 2 only. I'm going to do 3. And then we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch. A single into your next stitch. pull up a loop. That's pretty much it. Really, you're thinking, are you sure? That's it. Just give it a bit of a tug. Doesn't matter how you do it. A little bit of a tug. Now what you're going to do is you're going to grab your sewing needle. All right. Any needle will do. Any sewing needle. I've got this one here. This is actually my darning needle. And the only reason is I can't find my sewing needle. And I've got lots of thread sticking out of this, so it's not working for me. Excuse me. So thread your needle. Like so. So grab your little birdie. And you are going to run your needle. This is the front of your bird, yeah. You're going to run your needle through the stitches on this side, like so, yeah. Pop your thread through. Now just bring that little tail through and leave your knotted part there. Take it off, rethread it, or rethread the other side, I should say. There we go. So you rethread the other side, and this time you are popping your needle through to the other side, and you are popping it right through. Last time I did this when we made a bird recently, actually it was a while back, I didn't thread it properly, so I'm going to pop it through, and I found the eye kept coming undone. So I'm going to go like that, right? Then I'm going to go back in here like so. Just go through, and what I'm going to do is reattach my needle to this piece right here, because it's just, you know, flopping there like that. So attach like that down there, or it's wherever you want to put your eye. I'm going to pop it there. I might pop it a bit higher, to be fair. I'm going to pop it a little bit higher because that comes too close down to the beak. So I'm going to pop it a little higher like that, and that's much better. And if you want, you can go in and out. You don't have to. I just found it a little bit too floppy. So now what you want to do, leave that tail at the back. This one here should go through the back. I don't know why I left it through this way. And you might want to rethread, and I was going to say, I bet it won't work, but it did. You can pop it through the actual eye if you like, then bring it through and knot it at the back. This one here, you don't need to leave, or you don't need to weave that into your, what do you call it? Just tighten that really tight. You don't need to weave that into your, well, maybe that wasn't too tight. Shouldn't have pulled it too tight. You don't need to weave this into your wreath. You just need to give it a couple of knots at the back. Not too tight, because I realised I was pulling it before. Like that. And then just cut it close. Not too close, again, or it'll come undone. But cut it close enough, like so. And when you attach your little birdie to the wreath, like that, you can attach it there and around this way. It will cover up, it will cover up the knot, all right? Alrighty guys, so yours truly did forget one thing, and I forgot to place a little beak there. So I'm going to use the white yarn, but if you have like a tan, a light tan, or a light beige, you can use that as well, alright? So really what we should have done was place the beak here before popping the eye. But I forgot, so I do apologise. We're going to do it now. So there's your pink head, big head, right? And that's your double crochet. And right there, anywhere up the top point, like, well, it's really on the base if you think about it, but it's the top stitch, yeah? So anywhere there, pop your hook in, pop your tail over your hook, and just pull a loop through. Now that's in the stitch, not just the space, yeah? Just going to pop this thread here for a minute. I'm going to pop it forward just so we can lock it into place. Chain one, okay? And now what you're going to do is lift your thread a little bit. When we did a bird in the past, we did a double crochet here. I'm going to try a half double crochet, and that's the yarn over your hook, go straight into the same stitch that you are in, pull a loop through like so, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, drop your tail at the back now, and in the same stitch you're going to do a slip stitch. So pop your hook in the stitch, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook, pull up a little loop and cut your tail. All right, so come on Mary, you can do this. Now there are probably many other ways of doing the beak, but this is the only way I know how. So if you have another way, then you can actually use that way. All right, so there's your little beak. Now we're going to use these tails to weave in, and we're also going to use the tails to hide at the back when we attach our piece to the wreath, which will be on Friday. Very exciting. All right. I was going to do the attaching on Thursday, but I realized the day later, after I finished recording this tutorial, that I'd forgotten the beak, and I've re-recorded this part the day later. So now it's the day later. So we are a day behind, which doesn't matter because this will go up on Tuesday, which is today. And the angel will go up on Thursday, and then Friday we will attach everything to the wreath, and that will be the end of our annual project. But not now. But that's the end of today's project, if you will. We will sort out the tails when we are attaching them to the wreath. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Do all the wonderful things that you guys, well, pretty much always do for me. And a special thank you once again to Elaine for her colour combination of today's tutorial. Thank you for joining us, and ciao for now.